Hello everyone and welcome back to some more City Skylines here on the channel. Today we are back in Sierra Belleza, my tropical paradise that I have been creating here in the game. It is loosely based on Hawaii. Probably throw a few more, I don't know, islands kind of into that mix, I suppose. It could be maybe a little bit of Cuba, a little bit of Caribbean, you know, kind of maybe some Nassau or something in there, but mostly I got the idea just because I wanted to do something kind of Hawaiian and tropical and things like that. So that's pretty much what we're doing. So the last few episodes, we have spent a lot of time working on a lot of infrastructure in our city. And I almost said park because I'm way too used to playing Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. But today, not much different kind of happening. We're still kind of working on some infrastructure in this time around. I kind of was going to go ahead and start doing maybe some residential area over by our industrial park that we did in the last video. But before we can kind of do that, I was kind of looking around and it's like, how am I going to make this work? And how am I going to make these connect up around the island and stuff? So I thought, let's do a coastal highway, something that kind of runs around the main island, kind of all the way around. And as you can see, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I will say I had a ton of trouble trying to get the parallel road tool to work for some odd reason. I don't know why. I finally figured out that if I turn it, if I set it a certain way, it finally worked. But it was a pain. It kept wanting to crisscross like constantly, and I'm not sure why it was doing that. And I asked on Reddit, I asked on the actual Steam Workshop page for the mod as well. No one could really give me a clear answer. Everybody kind of gave me some thoughts on how to fix it on Reddit, but none of them really worked. But I ended up just kind of fixing it myself for the most part. It has to do with, from what I can tell, what happened was it's a lot to do with the actual terrain that you're working over. And if you choose to make it like forced to ground or something like that, that's where it was like a big pain. Also, when I was throwing these down, or was throwing the road down anyway, and curving everything and you know, following a snake around the mountain so I could get the road right, I noticed it wasn't deleting any of the trees. So I had to go back here and delete the trees by hand, accidentally deleting some of the road there, as you can see. I did cut out a lot of that here in the video, so you can kind of see what I was doing there. And then kind of placing some of the road back. But I'm pretty happy with the road that I was able to come out with here. And instead of having it go all the way up to the other side of the island, I thought, you know what, let's make it go around right here and come over so that it actually connects to maybe the other side of the highway. So it crisscrosses across the mountain here, as you can see. And what I'm doing right now is just kind of fixing the terrain and fixing the roads so that it will make it over the mountain. It's not too steep and it works pretty good. And I feel like I got it fairly smooth in this area. I went back through pretty much the entire highway and smoothed out all of the pieces that just weren't working. And it was too steep and too sloped and up and down, and it's like a roller coaster basically, and it just wasn't working for me. So I wanted to kind of level a lot of that out. We did keep some of the slopes in and stuff, and some of the little hills, but I didn't want it to be like mountainous all the way around there. And I think I left enough space around the corners, like the edge of the island, so that we could put little small, I'm not going to say villages, but I guess that's kind of what they are. We could kind of put like these little residential areas and other things like all the way around the island. So that's, yeah, pretty much what I'm just doing right now is just smoothing out all of the roads and stuff. So there's a few minutes of this here before we go into the next section. There we go. Just kind of straighten those out. And right here, this is where I was taking the terrain tool and just kind of smoothing some stuff out in there and just trying to get everything just right over in this section here. And now is where we're going to do the main part of this video. Is going to be two different sections. So the coastal highway was easy. That was the easy part. This next part, we are going to connect this up to the road here. And so for this, I had to do a custom interchange here. And it was a struggle to kind of get it to do what I wanted a lot of it to do. And that's because I don't play this game enough. And I see some people who they make these interchanges and stuff, and they're just so amazing. I visit the Reddit a lot for Cities Skylines, and I see a lot of people just make these amazing creations with interchanges and stuff, and I wanted to try to do something myself here in that range. I'm not very good at trying to get the roads straight, or even if they're curved, to kind of look perfectly curved. They always kind of look a little janky. When I finished this, I did post this picture of this interchange up on Reddit, and I got a lot of great comments. It got a ton of upvotes and stuff on it. Some people pointed out I should have used Node controller, and I'm like, I did. So I don't know, maybe I'm not familiar enough with Node controller yet to know. Maybe I'm missing something that I should be doing with it that I didn't do. Or maybe I'm just using it wrong or something, but I don't know. I thought it came out pretty good, and a lot of other people thought so too. It could have come out a lot better though, and hopefully over time I will improve upon trying to get these things to work. But yeah, just try to get everything to kind of curve where I want and go where I want it to go is just it's a pain. Especially try to level everything out too. I've got a ton of mods that help me level things out and move things around and curve things, but none of them were really doing everything perfectly, so I ended up just using a lot of different methods to try to get everything done. Yeah, so don't really have a whole lot else to say on this interchange. Again, I think it came out pretty good. Now, you'll notice I am cutting out a lot of things here, like the video kind of skips around a little bit, but that's because a lot of the stuff I cut out is stuff that honestly you guys wouldn't be interested in seeing anyway. It's just me fumbling around with the building system and moving things around until I get them just where I want. Because I am a bit of a perfectionist. I mean, I know it may not look like it because I know this isn't perfect, but I myself am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to trying to get these things right. So I would move things around and be like, no, 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 no. And I would just have to keep moving things around. And in the end, I'm pretty happy with the results. It could be a lot more better, a lot more perfect, but the results, I'm happy with the results that I got out of this. One thing that I was kind of having some trouble with here is when I went to do this section here that goes down onto this off-ramp or on-ramp, I guess it's an on-ramp at this section, was I noticed, oh, I don't have enough room in between this level and the bottom level, so I ended up having to move some things around, like raise things up right there, and then when I did that, it just caused a lot of other problems. So again, a lot more fumbling. This took me a pretty, I would say, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours of messing around with this, maybe even like 4. Oh yeah, it's probably closer to 4 hours making this intersection here, just trying to get it around. So that's why I cut out a lot of this video, and it kind of skips a few things there, like kind of now. I'm just kind of, I only wanted to show off the main kind of things that I were doing there. So I should probably, when I do these videos, I should probably maybe make at least a guideline of what I'm going to talk about while I am, you know, kind of going over the video and stuff. But honestly, I ain't got time for that. So instead, most of my videos here, I end up just kind of ranting. I have considered, and I have done in the past, I've done videos where I don't say anything in a video. It's just a time-lapse video with some music in the background. And I've gotten comments that people would prefer that, you know, they actually me talking on it, even if I am just ranting about stuff, or if I am just kind of rambling around and don't have anything really specific to say. Most people seem to agree that they prefer me talking over just music. So that's why I tend to kind of do these things this way. Now, coming up here is when I'm going to be doing the node controller work, which I kind of, you know, skip over a lot of these, like right here. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm using it wrong. But I don't think I am, but a lot of people on Reddit said that I should use it, and I'm like, I did? So I'm not 100% sure where I kind of messed up on that, where they would suggest it, and where I could improve upon some of these. Some other people had mentioned maybe my junctions weren't exactly straight, and I guess I kind of have a reason for that. Like why, like right at that one section that we were just on, like why are they not lined up on both sides and parallel to each other? Because of how I was doing some of the roads and stuff, I didn't feel like it needed to be lined up like that. So this part right here, I'm using the intersection marking tool, which is a godsend. This thing is so awesome. So you can kind of set it to put any like straight lines, or you can do filler and things. I'm still learning this tool as well, so hopefully I'll get the hang of that as well. I've used it a few times, but I am still learning it. They keep updating it and keep changing things. Like this version that I'm using now is not the same version I was originally started out using, so I'm still trying to get used to like how the controls and stuff work. But placing straight lines and stuff is, or just dash lines, is really easy. It's got some more advanced settings and stuff in it that you can mess around with, and that's what I was trying to figure out here. Like I know that I could set like a filler section. I could put lines in, and then somehow I can make a rule to tell it not to use a line in that particular area, and then I can use the other area as a filler, and it would help me do a lot of things better. But yeah, so I went with dashed lines here. I don't know why, because in this other section that I get ready to do here in a moment, I ended up doing with a solid filler space in there. I don't know, I think it works. So I probably need to change these roads up a little bit too. I think what I ended up using was the original vanilla roads here for the highway, and I think I may change these up a little bit later and maybe do a different kind of road type on these. Maybe some national roads, or I don't know. I'll probably end up changing it out though, or at least maybe changing the color on it. And then, you know, I've got a lot of these places where it has no lines on it and stuff with the nodes, so I wanted to make sure that every section that didn't have lines, I wanted to make sure I got all of that right. And last but not least, we were doing a little bit of terrain work here in the area, and what is not shown on this section is where I went back and straightened out the road, because the road, like I said, it's a bit janky and not exactly level, so I wanted to kind of go back in there and fix that. So I did later on, after I took photos and stuff. I went back on and kind of straightened up the road so it's a lot more straight. In doing so, I ended up, as you can kind of see here, this is the final result. I lowered that bridge a little bit so I could get the road kind of lower down as well. But yeah, I think this came out beautiful. If you inspect it too close, you can see, you know, there's a lot of things on it that need fixed, but from a distance and just kind of looking over it, I think it looks absolutely stunning. And it was, I'm not going to say it's one of my first custom interchanges, but it's my first custom interchange that I'm quite proud of. The last one I did was over there by the industrial area, and it came out pretty good, and I am happy with that one. But I think this one looks a lot better. I don't know why, it just does. The only thing I couldn't do was I couldn't put a triple lane on that right-hand side there where the bridge is, right there where the off-ramp is. Now this next section, what we're going to be doing is building a tunnel system and a shed tunnel. I've seen these, a lot of racing games and stuff that I've played in the past, Forza and some other racing games like, I don't know, Project Gotham Racing, Need for Speed. I've really liked these kind of race courses and stuff, or roads where you go through a tunnel, and it's not a full tunnel because like one side is open, and they call them shed tunnels, and they're really, really cool, and I think they're really amazing. And I've seen people do these in Cities Skylines before as well, and absolutely stunning, beautiful work. So I thought I wanted to try to put that somewhere on the island where I could have one of these sections like this. This seemed like the perfect spot right here for it, so that's what I'm doing right now at the moment. So we've got the road that kind of goes through the mountain. So we have a mountain tunnel on one side, but the other side of the road is going to go a little further down. It's kind of spaced apart a little bit there. And I'm going to kind of have the shed tunnel down at the bottom. So we have the regular tunnel and the shed tunnel. And the shed tunnels are basically meant to protect the road from landslides, if I understand the use of them correctly anyway. I'm pretty sure that's what they're due for. A lot of these are in like France and Europe and stuff. I guess there's some in the US as well, but they're very, very like not well known, but they're abundant. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. They're a lot more abundant in Europe, and especially in France. I think it's the A4 highway, maybe some of my French viewers can tell me if I am correct on that, if that's the road or not. But yeah, there's a really cool road section in France it has these on it, and it's so cool. It's really amazing looking when you're actually looking at it. So, and I kind of got some inspiration from that and kind of wanted to do a little bit something like that. So here we are placing the tunnels in, just kind of these covers stuff here. I ended up making these too long because I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but I could just shorten that tunnel entrance up by using the Move It tool, and that's eventually what I did. So when you see this again here in a moment, when we skip into the next section, you'll see that the tunnel entrances are a lot smaller right there. So and it's kind of just move them back a little more there. That way it's not as cool, or it's not as long. And then we're going to use these rocks by Gray Flame. I believe it's the Gray Flame rocks. And I'm just kind of placing these all out so I can just like pick and choose which ones I want to use here. So, and we're just going to kind of make our own mountain to kind of cover up these entrances for this tunnel and bring it out a little more so that we can put it all the way up against the shed tunnel, which we'll do in a moment. And this may seem like a lot of work right here, like what I'm doing with the rocks and stuff, but it wasn't too bad. Like, I actually finished this up pretty quickly. I probably need to go, there's one part of it which I don't really care for, and I probably might go back a little later on and redo it, and we'll get to that here in just a few minutes here. That right there, I had the idea I would just copy everything from one side and put it on the other, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but I would have to reverse everything. So instead, I just brought all these rocks over here and just kind of placed them manually anyway. That way it doesn't look exactly the same on both sides though. So there's that. Just moving a few trees around there. Yeah. But these rocks, I think it worked out really, really well. And I hope you guys agree with me on this. It didn't come out as perfect as I wanted, as many things that I do. Like I said, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and a lot of times I'm not happy with my own results. Even though everybody else just loves the things that I do or create, I look at them and I'm just like, I could do better. You know, and it's just like, or that could look a lot better. So I guess it's true what they say. You are your own worst critic, and I am my own worst critic indeed. So, because I look at every single thing that I do and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't trust myself, I guess. But I get so many people, who like comment on my videos and stuff, or on my creations and stuff, and they absolutely love the things that I do, and they give me so much credit and stuff for it, and it's just like, I mean, thank you, but I don't think it's all that great myself. So, but I do love seeing the comments and stuff, like when people praise me or tell me that I did such a great job and everything. It's good to hear, but I'm always trying to make myself better at every single thing that I do, whether it be Cities Skylines. And it's a game that I do really, really love playing this game. I have so much fun doing these kinds of things like this, but it's a game that I haven't perfected yet. Like, I feel like Planet Coaster is like the game that I put so many hours and stuff into, and I realize that I'm really good at Planet Coaster, and it's a game that I do enjoy, but it's also a game that I'm kind of like, I don't know if I can do anything better than the stuff I've already done in Planet Coaster at this point. Like, I always try to outdo myself, but I just don't know if I can outdo myself anymore in Planet Coaster. I feel like I'm just kind of like at that, I don't know, that what is the word I'm looking for? I'm at that level where, you know, I just don't know where to improve on in that game. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, for the most part. However, with Cities Skylines, it's like, even though this game has been out even longer than Planet Coaster, and I've owned this game for so long, I never really got into it. Like, I always kind of had this game, and I would always go to the workshop, and I would always see all these awesome things that people did, and I always and I would download like tons of assets, and then I would have like this huge library of stuff that I've downloaded, but I never played the game. So it's like, oh, that's really cool, I'm going to use that later, but you can't really use them if you never load up the game. So here in the last year or so, or 2 years I guess, is when I've really been kind of getting into Cities Skylines and kind of trying to master it. And most of my viewers here on the channel are here for Planet Coaster, it seems like, with some for Planet Zoo. But I feel like I do have some fans out there who love Cities Skylines series as well. And I would love to hear from you guys as well. Like, if Cities Skylines is the game that you are following me for, let me know in the comments below. Because I know a lot of people are just here mostly for Planet Coaster for the most part. And for the one guy who keeps asking me to play Foundation, I promise, in fact, by the time you see this video, you should probably have already saw a new Foundation video on here. So that's a series I'll be continuing as well. So, and then I was trying to get into some Sims 4 as well, but I don't get any views on this Sims 4 stuff, which is a shame, because that's another game I would kind of really like to do here on my channel. So I'll be continuing more. I'll be building more houses and stuff in that. But for the most part, I think it's just going to be Planet Coaster, Planet Zoo, and Cities Skylines. And I'm going to try to get into Cities Skylines a lot more than the other two here for a while, because I'm having more fun with this game right now. Just really, really enjoying it. I love building these just kind of different things. And I've got 2 different cities going as well. But anyway, we are pretty much almost to the end of the video. And I'm just going to leave you guys with some cinematics here of the last part of this. And you can see how it all kind of finalized. But I will see you in the next video. And until then, wherever you guys are in the world, thank you so much for watching. Very much appreciated. And thank you to all my Patreons. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. And also comment and like this video if you've enjoyed it. I'm out. Wherever you guys are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you for watching.